Welcome to the Spoiler Alert podcast. And today we have a special guest, Greg CONLEY. He was a former classmate of mine at UW Oshkosh, radio, TV, film major. Cool ass dude. And today we're going to be reviewing Uncut Gems. And I'd like to say a couple days ago, you celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday, Greg. How did it go?
Thanks, man. Thanks. Went pretty well. So it was my 28th birthday. And I got a chance to spend some time with the friends and family. As you already know, Nate, just with our type of field, bro, I'm always working. So it was nice to kind of get away from the screens. My family surprised me. We made homemade pizzas, which is like my favorite food, pizzas. And then, like I said, I got to spend time with my daughter, which I love doing. And honestly, getting drunk and stuff. We went out to Main Street,
Nice.
I'm gonna say it definitely doesn't hit the same like when we were younger though, man. Like at 28, like I had a couple drinks, bro, and I was pretty straight, But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so you actually have like technically like 2 COVID birthdays now, huh? Because like if it being like, late, like early April or whatever, like that's gotta suck.
Yeah,
and a little bit,
Definitely. The thing is, like, I have an amazing fiance who definitely made me still feel special both of those days. It's so like you said, I am an outgoing ass guy, but dude, I also do enjoy kind of like being inside and like home. Like I love film, so we were able to watch really, I forgot which film it was, but we got to enjoy a nice movie. My mom took the daughter, so we had no kid.
Nice.
And then we did some other extracurricular things that were pretty fun. And it was pretty cool, but definitely this one took the cake. And like, I wouldn't say I regret it, but I almost like wish I didn't like stay. I mean, I don't know how to say it, but like wish I didn't stay in and like kind of like shelter myself as much last year. So I'm kind of trying to take back my year and kind of still try to enjoy it. Maybe not super crazy going to raves, but like I want to start doing stuff and doing events,
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's like, I feel like even people that like go out quite a bit or whatever feel like, like there's lost time that they got to make up for a little bit,
Definitely.
So yeah, I am like a little over 1 week away from my second vaccination. So after that, I'm going to start going out a little more here and there.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, my fiance just convinced me, so yeah, I'm gonna be doing that too. And I want to start doing some more video shoots and kind of just getting back out there and networking. So I'm down to do the same.
Yeah, man. So yeah, let's get started on Uncut Gems. So this is a movie that's directed by Josh and Benny Safdie. I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, go at us in the comments. But they're brothers that are from New York, and this is like their first like well-known movie, and obviously stars Adam Sandler, Lakeith Stanfield, who's in things like Get Out. He's in Atlanta, which is probably the best show in the last handful of years, I think.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, as far as like I don't know if I've seen like a show like balanced drama and comedy like Atlanta does. And then also stars Julia Fox and Idina Menzel, and then Kevin Garnett as himself.
Oh yeah, and The Weeknd, man, he was in there too, bro.
Yep, The Weeknd, and then also Mike Francesa, who is Adam Sandler's bookie.
Oh.
He's actually like a super famous New York sports radio host, like Mike and the Mad Dog in the Morning. But anyway, the movie starts in Ethiopia in a diamond mine or opal mine. And I like the way it starts because, it's just like super honest of like how all this, how all these like riches and stuff are found. Like they're found over cheap labor, like most of the time overseas, right?
Yeah.
It starts them off of like how brutal it is. But even with that, there's like Well, okay, it starts with where one of the workers had gotten injured, right? And most of the other miners are kind of crowding around him, while
Yeah.
two other people kind of take the initiative and are like, well, fuck it, no one's digging right now, let's go look for some gems, and then they'll be ours to sell, and then we can get out of this situation, which I think is kind of a mindset that carries on throughout the movie, where everyone's just trying to get theirs, you know what I mean?
Honestly, like you said, I do appreciate that parallel between the mine and then when they take that back to New York. I liked how it's a different kind of like how I don't want to say filth, but like griminess to it or whatever. Where like in Ethiopia, like you were saying, it kind of played along with like, hey, we're gonna get ours, we're gonna get out of this shitty situation. And I like how even like this color grading aspect and how some of the shots were kind of parallel to like New York, and when like Howard, is kind of talking about his situation, and the overall theme of the movie is him basically trying to turn over his luck basically. But I like those parallels right in the beginning, and like you said, that's like a good overview of what kind of the theme's about to be for the rest of the movie. So it definitely set set the movie up very well, I would say.
Yeah, and then they look inside the gem, and then we get one of the cooler opening credit sequences I've seen in a while, where, and he literally says this later on in the movie, where it's like you're looking through the universe, like some Hubble telescope pictures and like Voyager pictures, where you're just like flowing through these different colorful clouds and shit inside like a rock. And then it starts to become like the inside of, Adam Sandler's colon.
Yeah, dude, okay, that part was crazy. Yeah, like that was also unexpected, but like funny transition into Howard. So yeah, dude, that part was like, I was like, what the fuck, bro?
That, I suppose, that is one of my criticisms of the movie, though, is I wish that they would have gone back to his colon cancer, or like his colon operation more, because he checked with his doctor on the phone, and his doctor said he was clean, like he lucked out.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could have almost been better if like they at least wanted him to come back in for more tests and kept that as like a concern throughout the movie.
You bringing that up almost makes it weird that they decided to do that and then kind of have a solution within the first few minutes. Because yeah, it would have been kind of cool to kind of let what happened played out through the movie, and then like maybe bring it bring it at the end when he kind of starts like having regrets and kind of starts, I don't want to like ruin it until we get to that part, but like, yeah, I think that would have been a really clever way to bring it back. But yeah, I mean,
It is what it is. That's one of the criticisms. There's not too many. All right, and then one of the first scenes we get where Howard's walking through his shop. You can kind of tell that a lot of his employees don't really respect him.
Yep.
Like they listen to him, but even the worker that's also his girlfriend that he's cheating on his wife with, or soon to be ex-wife, so they're pretty much separated at this point, but still, like, no one really seems to respect Howard. Like they all know that he's smart, and they listen to him and they do whatever, but no one ever wants to trust him.
Yeah, it basically shows very quickly that he's a piece of shit for sure.
Like, yeah, and his last name is Ratner in this movie, so yeah, he's basically, the writer is basically telling the world that the dude's a rat. Like he'll do whatever he has to do to survive. And then when he catches those breaks, he'll triple down on them and try to capitalize.
Yep.
Yeah, and this opening credit sequence is just very fast paced. It's just very short scenes of like him going to see his bookie, Mike Francesa, and then seeing his girlfriend. His girlfriend has been partying all night. Like, it's not super obvious that she was cheating, but she definitely could have been. Or at least he thinks that she probably could have been. And then Kevin Garnett comes through his shop, and is just kind of looking through every little, just anything. I think he just came there for like a chain or something.
Yeah.
Howard has some goofy shit, like he has a blinged out Furby, which kind of seems cool. I might like.
Yeah. So, dude, I do like how the introduction for Kevin Garnett to meeting Howard, but like you said, it kind of throughout that interaction, it kind of shows the sleaziness or the willing to get over almost on anyone, even whether it's a celebrity or anything like that. Because yeah, basically, I remember him trying to show him the Furby and all that other shit, and he wasn't really interested. So I can't remember if the Black Opal caught his eye or if that Lakeith character is the one that mentioned it. But yeah, how they
I think the opal came in with like the fish. Yeah, the opal came in with the fish and he cut it out. And
yeah
he was just so excited to like that he got the thing, because he's estimating it at over $1 million, that like he just, and it was probably a mistake. Like he just
overestimated.
he was just like, KG, I gotta show you this.
Yeah.
Like without the intent of wanting to sell it to KG, unless like KG was ready to drop like 2 million that right then and there, So I don't know, he was kind of maybe showing off a little too much there.
Yeah, I doubt
but
that he bites him in the ass. I think that's like you said, him. He's always like whether he gets those breaks, he's always kind of trying to show off or flex, or like you said, double down and trying to one up his situation. Which he was in a pretty big situation because how much did he owe? I know he had gambling
I
debt.
think he started off. I think his debts were over 100,000.
Yeah, I think so too.
But and then it kind of gets worse.
Yeah.
At times in the movie.
We were talking about the Black Opal, but how they, he reluctantly did, but they agreed to make that trade, and Kevin Garnett or whatever decided to give him the championship ring for collateral, and that to me, that's when shit kind of started hitting the fan.
Yeah, well, like the first, I mean, at this point, we're not really sure, like we're not really shown a clear example of just how shitty Howard can be, but literally right after that switch happened, Howard went to another, like one of his friends that also sells jewelry or pawns it, and like just for like basically like a 2 or 3 day loan, he pawned off the championship ring for like 22,000.
Yeah,
just to like, just so that in his mind, when they come back and switch, that he would have made like some 20,000 off of just having done it.
Yeah.
And we're shown pretty quickly that he's been followed around by this guy named Arnold, because they start like a kind of a fight in the, like a verbal fight in the jewelry shop at one point, and then gets broken up. But they're literally following him around, watching him take loans out, then later text Arnold that he doesn't have any cash, and just like lying to him. So it's pretty easy to tell just how, like you said, like how just kind of, he's like a rat. He does what he has to do to make as much money as he can and survive just barely at the same time. I guess it's pretty important that when KG looks at the gem, like he has like a connection to it. Like he sees the universe basically is what's behind me. Like he sees the universe, and then.
Yo, do you feel like the universe is symbolic? Because like watching it, I thought it would have more symbolism connected to it. And I think other than just the trance or putting people in a trance, I don't feel like.
I know what you mean. Like it seemed, I think they could have done more with that. They probably, because it can be symbolic in that, like, I don't know, if you think about the universe in a weird way, there's probably like some like bacteria that lives on another planet that qualifies as life, but for what we can ever get to in our lifetimes, like, there's pretty much nothing out there but us, like, that's living. So, and our own as humans, our own nature, our own over competitiveness and that kind of thing, sometimes like destroys each other or whatever. So
I was just wondering because I thought that a lot of movies usually have that particular symbol in there that kind of reoccurs to the movie. So I wondered too. And then the Uncut Gems like title, where do you think that came in at? Other than I guess the black opal being like literally pure. It's probably I guess the main.
yeah, I don't know. There might be some symbolism behind it, other than I don't think it means much more than just the gems, honestly, and it kind of sounds cool. Uh
Yeah, it does sound badass.
he takes all the money that he pawned off the ring for and bets it on KG, and he stands to, I think, multiply his money by 4. So I think that gets him close to like 85, 100,000.
Yeah,
And he's doing a parlay, so it's like
6-1.
KG. Yeah, so it's like KG has to lead the game in rebounds, points, and then they have to win, or he has to get 17 rebounds and 28 points, and they have to win or something. I forgot the numbers.
Yeah.
And this is during the 2012 playoffs, which, looking back at it, it's pretty cool. There's a Drew Holiday shout out right away. That's kind of like from Sixers Drew Holiday.
No, they did have some cool Easter eggs. But then the part I also too, I guess I loved. I guess no, I'm gonna say this throughout the whole movie. I feel like the pacing was amazing, but it was also like weird in a way too. Like definitely at the end, I felt like that was the culmination, and like I was like, oh shit, that actually happened. But like this particular part where Howard's trying to connect with Kevin Garnett and get the rock back or whatever, you just see him literally placing these bets, trying to get over, but then like I can't Demaney or whatever the name of that guy.
I think it's Damani. Yeah, Damani.
It almost seems like he's in on it with Kevin. So that's the thing too. It's like how you said people that work for him don't necessarily trust Howard or whatever. It always seems like Damani kind of is like on Kevin Garnett's side, or like kind of really playing into not helping Howard out of his situation because he knows he's a shitty fucking guy.
Yeah, and at the end of it, I think even at the end of the movie, Kevin Garnett asks like a 6% cut of, or from some, like, he like requires that when he sells. Okay, so the first big spoiler alert that we're skipping ahead is eventually the opal gets sold back to KG from Howard, and when they sold that, in part of the agreement, KG was like, you have to leave like 6% out off for Damani. So yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I think they hit it off, and like, I don't know, we're either like friends, like fast friends, or what, when he went to go do dealings with him.
Well, I mean, it's that too, but I almost just feel like he was just a third party, and although him and Howard sound like they had a working relationship, it was nothing more than that. Because I think Damani honestly talks to these celebrities or brings the celebrities to Howard, and obviously for Howard, he's like, hey, bro, if they sell any of this dumb jewelry or like chains or whatever, I get a percentage. But like, it did never seem like they were really truly friends, because it seemed like, yeah, they were always trying to avoid each other. So yeah, I just said, but the pacing in it, just how more frantic Howard got through there. And then you see him in his daughter's school play, and then he gets jumped by we can jump to that part, but yeah, then he gets his ass beat by those goons.
Yeah, man. And but yeah, like you were saying, the whole pacing of the movie, like, it keeps you interested, but it also stresses you out. So like, whenever a movie, like one of the scenarios turns, it feels just as like stressful for us as it does Howard.
Yeah.
And so he gets jumped the night of the first bet on KG, because KG wins the bet for Howard, and Howard was watching the games with his kids, but then they had to go, do that thing with the daughter that you just said.
Yeah.
And but he sees those same thugs following him around. So he meets them outside of the high school so that like his family doesn't get involved, which, he's probably not a good father or a good husband.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are definitely worse movie dads out there than Howard, I think, somehow.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, but then like you stated in there how even towards the end, like his luck started to get really bad there, to where it seemed like he started having sympathy from his ex-wife and family. Like it sounds like they were definitely used to his bullshit, but then like you said, it kind of honestly started pulling at my heartstrings, bro. Because like I don't know, man. Like we all have everyday life, and like shit goes south pretty fucking often. But like for Howard, it seemed like every time he had a chance, although it was self-induced, shit just kept getting worse and worse, man. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? That's what had me at the edge of my seat though. But I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, I will say Julia, so like the younger like mistress,
Yeah.
at the first part of the movie, I didn't think that they would write her into being quite as good as I think she ended up being.
Yeah.
So, because like by the end of the movie, because at the start of the movie, you're kind of thinking like, okay, this is, an unrealistic relationship, yada, yada, yada. This isn't going to last long or whatever.
Yeah.
She's cheating on him, something. But by the end of the movie, you're really rooting for her to, get the bet in. And then when she starts like spotting basically like stalkers that would, try to steal any winnings from her,
Yeah.
like she kind of like, takes the initiative and uses this one horny old dude to
Yeah.
basically like help her escape. And,
Yeah.
just, she became a better character than I believe she begins.
Yeah. Yeah,
Julie
definitely.
did.
I didn't even think she was gonna play that part. So that almost, but then like I guess I don't understand what was the point of her and Howard having that fight when she like supposedly cheated on Howard with the weekend. Do you feel like that played a role in like maybe that like that's just the continuation of him having that downward spiral?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you point that's a really good point, because it almost seems like a writing strategy to make him sad, but bring it back together so that when he dies, it's sad again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a really good point, because I think it's kind of a tug and pull that the writers want to give for you, and whether it's, the most realistic thing to like fully like break up with a girl and then get back together like 12 hours later, or whatever it was, and be down to do some sketchy shit in a casino and with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But that does make it sweet because of how untrusting he is. You know what I mean? Like they must still like something about him.
Yeah. And that's like what, because even thinking about it now, like that's how it was really well written. Is because they made a shitty character who's normally he'd probably be a villain, what I'm saying, a mob boss or like somebody that works for the bad guys. I think Josh and them did a really good job in helping us connect with him. But like you said, like in every kind of aspect, he was definitely just a shitty person.
Yeah.
It was definitely Adam Sandler's. I think it was one of my favorite roles by him, actually.
Yeah, same with me. Like he's hardly in any dramas at all.
Yeah.
You could kind of say Funny People is a drama,
Yeah.
because that wasn't, it wasn't like a normal Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, where he plays himself basically.
Yeah. And then Punch Drunk Love. Basically, Adam Sandler was on this run of doing a bunch of comedies that are all kind of the same, like you said. He's got this big Netflix deal, so 12 movies to do and stuff like that. So he's just making money off of. Oh, I forgot when he actually started his Netflix deal, but he got like a deal for like 8 or 10 movies, something like that. And he started off with like some comedies that were just kind of, like the average Sandler comedy now. But then and then out of nowhere there was this one that was like actually really good.
Yeah.
And a drama. So it almost Adam Sandler did a great job in this movie, but it almost just makes me ask more like, why doesn't he do this stuff more? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, I think it falls into that same spectrum. When I mean, we probably learned this in RTF, but like, movies are kind of like to play it safe because it costs a lot of money. The a movie budget's fucking insane, bro. It's I think I just looked up and it said that the budget for this movie was $19 million. So like that's a lot of money to make back and stuff like that. So they like to play it safe with what's gonna get people in the theater seats. And Adam Sandler's known for Big Daddy, he's known for Waterboy, stuff like that. So I feel like people are more opposed to maybe go watch Adam Sandler if he's doing a comedy, as opposed to be like, if you're like, yo, Adam Sandler's in this dope ass fucking drama, where he's a fucking, grimy ass jeweler, like it probably doesn't sound that good, but like I think the thing that actually helped Uncut Gems was because we were so used to seeing Adam Sandler do comedies and like other things like that, to where like when they start showing the trailers, I was intrigued. I was like, bro, he looks different. He's fucking doing something different. And I mean, I guess that's actually his accent, but like he really embraces his accent. I don't know if it's like a New York accent or Brooklyn or Boston or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a New York accent for sure. Cause so I assume that KG is like at his house at like has like a pad in New York or something, because he has a game in Philly, but he goes to New York to buy watches or chains or whatever it was. But oh yeah, he came there for earrings. That's what it was.
Mm.
It was earrings. All right. So yeah, he's in the car. He got basically jumped, and he's in a car with Arnold, who this is the first time we see him, and his goons, and he's getting beat up. They strip him naked, throw him in the trunk, and this is all after Howard said, like KG won the bet, like so we're making money, and then they say, oh, we canceled that bet because we knew that we just wanted the money, that the 20,000 that you had. And then he's like, you fucking stupid fucking shit, and that's part of where you almost sympathizing with him again, where it's like, but wait, he lucked out though, like he should be all right, and then he's fucked over.
Yep, exactly. Howard, I think, meets Damani at the nightclub, and then that's where he catches his girlfriend cheating on him with the Weekend, and then he has that
or at
whole
least starting to.
definitely starting to.
Yeah. Damani is like kind of screwing over Howard by saying, all right, come down to Philly for the Opal, and then he doesn't have it, and he's just like, KG has it, and he doesn't try to help Howard. Yeah, so like at that point it's really him kind of jumping ship from Howard to KG. Damani, he breaks up with Julia at this point, around this point, and then he also starts to try to like convince his ex-wife to take him back, which she turns down. So his father-in-law is actually okay. So it's also discovered late around this part of the movie that Arnold is is Howard's brother-in-law.
Yeah, dude, that part fucked me up. And like you said, I think playing or showing that right after Arnold like stripped him naked and beat his ass, basically. Yeah, I think that was I don't even know how to say, like a revelation, because it was showing that like I don't know, man. He's just a shitty person. Like, you know,
Like he would do it to his own family,
exactly.
and he has his family acting like serial killers,
Yeah,
basically just from being around him long enough, and trying to loan him money or do whatever. So the father-in-law, he is convinced by Howard that, all right, this opal is worth $1 million, and they're only starting the listing at like 120,
yeah.
so, or 150. So
They have to artificially keep raising it up.
yeah, and he's like, KG's gonna buy this for whatever it takes. So you just keep bidding and it'll happen, and it'll just get the number up. And thing is, KG stops bidding.
Yeah,
and and that's like one of the most fucked up things that Howard does in the entire movie, is that he gets his father-in-law screwed over
yeah,
by having to like drop like 24, like 240,000, I think, on it. KG does kind of call, he does get in contact fairly quickly with KG, and that's when like to basically sell it. So he still ends up making a profit, but just a small profit,
yeah.
right? I think
Also,
he gets like 170. No, I think he gets 175.
because that's what Kevin Garnett wanted. But you can't forget the part, bro, is after the plan backfires on his dad. I think it's his dad or his father-in-law. Uh,
Father-in-law, yep.
father-in-law. Um, outside of the auction hall, he gets his ass beat. Remember?
Yep.
Because then, well, the reason I bring that up is because then he goes back to his store and he has that whole scene with him and Julia, which I feel like leads to her be coming back on his side and helping him place the bet. But to me, bro, like that's where like I really started to sympathize with him. You know, even though I've seen, the first hour of the movie, him be a shitty person, him, finesse his his brother-in-law and his father-in-law. When he actually broke down, like all bloody and like started crying and shit, bro. Like, I almost started crying. I'm like, damn, bro, like your boy got to win, get a W.
Yeah, and she's, and that's when like Julia starts to become more of a sympathetic character, cuz yeah, that scene's a really good scene. So this is the part when he then officially buys the Celtic ring, or he buys the Celtic ring back with his Knicks ring. And his Knicks ring kind of seems like his good luck charm too, you know what I mean? And then he gets the ring back to KG, and then sells the opal for that 175, which I don't think gets him out of all of his debt, but would come pretty damn close. Um, but he immediately bets it on KG again. He sends it over to Julia
Yeah.
through the window, and I think she takes it to Atlantic City, I'd assume. He gives her the exact parlay to bet, because now KG has his opal back and he's going to have a good game again, is what he's thinking, because he'll have that confidence. Uh,
Yeah.
and now he's putting this in a six, like a 1 in 26 shot of like a 6-part parlay. So he stands to win like a million, like 1.2 million or something.
Yeah.
So when he's actually selling the opal back to KG, KG kind of asks, like, what's your game here? Like, why do you do this? And then he makes the point, why win by 1 when you can win by 30? And goes on this big rant of like the competitiveness, where it's like, why just be normal or just be okay when you can be great? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's, I think, the real heart of the movie, is like the competitiveness with people.
Yeah. But then I like how they show both sides of competitiveness. So like with Kevin Garnett, they show the good side of him having like a good luck charm or like, the opal, and he ends up having that strong performance. But then it also shows the negative side of that, as far as like being selfish and kind of doing whatever you need to do. Cause like, so I like how they showed that parallel between that, because yeah, man, that part. It just there was a lot of stuff because I was like, dude, why is you got all your money back? Why did you bet it again for the 1.2 million? You know, and that so like yeah, so that was a good point you brought up there.
I don't know. That's definitely Adam Sandler's best scene in the movie, I think. Arnold and his goons break into his office. So he's being forced to call Julia to stop the bet,
Yeah,
but they have like a gun. They have a gun to his head telling him to try to call it off, but he chooses not to. That's when he does. He literally has a gun to his head too, and he chooses not to. After that, that's when like the goons get locked in the doorway, which the doorway this entire movie has been like a really fucking just shitty door. Like it sucked when KG was trying to get in and all that, and then they bring it back at the end of the movie. I thought it was pretty clever.
yeah,
Howard takes advantage and just keeps them locked in there, and then has the game on, and he's basically like the entire time like, hey, calm down, we'll be all right. Like, see, that's good. And it's like they still want to like pull, like they still want to like tear him apart still, but he's kind of like, hey, look, it's working out for all of us. Like,
yeah, no, and honestly, you bringing that up, I think that's what makes the part that happens at the end of that much more sad, or you know, it definitely hit me a lot more. So yeah, like he had him in security door, and Garnett and the team ends up winning, and he ends up winning the, was it a parlay? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a parlay with six things again, like rebounds, opening tip. He was very excited about the opening tip. Winning like a certain amount of points. So it was like six ways, and I think it was a 1 in 26, like 1 to 26 odds, 26 to 1. Like you said, like he like basically he lets them out, and then the main goon that's been fucking with them the whole time just caps him right away, like right in the head.
Yeah,
And you know, and he thought, basically like, no matter what, like, hey, I could give you double what I owe you, I'll still be off fine,
yeah,
like, and it could be just good for everybody that I want all this money. So he's just psyched and like at peak of his confidence and everything, and then just
yeah. And honestly, like you said, that's what like kind of brings you back to where it's like it almost like seems fictional and all the bad shit that's happening to him and how his luck is kind of turning, and then that bullet to his head literally is the kind of the stop to the emotional roller coaster. It puts you through the whole movie, and honestly, bro, yeah, like I started tearing up, bro, because I was like, what the fuck, man? Why, he finally was able to get out of debt. It seemed like he was able to kind of mend the relationship with his wife, or they had a better understanding. He kind of was able to like hang out with his son and stuff like that, to where it made sense in the grand scheme of things. But like that's the clever writing from their team there, because yeah, man, I was. Oh yeah, and then don't forget though, he also capped fucking Arno.
Yep. That was for me like the really sad part, is that Arnold was actually, when they were walking out of the glass, like all was forgiven. Like,
Yeah,
your family, like, hey, you pulled this shit off. What,
yeah,
whatever, let bygones be bygones. And then, but that one henchman that just had enough, and he just fucking snapped. Like, and then, they end up shooting Arnold, their boss. So they just, steal whatever watches and, earrings they can get. And that's kind of where we leave them. And that's kind of where we leave the movie. Like it, we have like a pan in on the bullet hole, which is like the, reverse of the colon shot at the beginning. Uh, and that's kind of how it ends. And then we end again, like looking into the universe. But yeah, I thought it was a really good movie. Like we were saying, I kind of wish that Adam Sandler would do more movies like this with, very ambitious directors and very ambitious like storylines and things like that. Because I mean, he's proven he can pull it off. It's just
Yeah.
whenever he wants to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, honestly, even in his more comedies, I've always enjoyed Adam Sandler. I felt like there was definitely a few years or maybe a decade where he was kind of playing the same character. But the part I always respected about him is he always embraces his New York kind of like persona and stuff like that. So even here, I'm reading a little further. It sounded like the directors based this story off of their dad, who used to work in the Diamond District, and these two directors are actually Jewish. So I like
Okay.
how he really played. He like does that a lot, but he plays into a lot of his Jewish heritage and stuff like that. So that's something I respected him. And then also being a RTF guy, I respect that he has his own production company and hires a lot of his guys. It was actually kind of weird not seeing a lot of his reoccurring cast show up in this movie though.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe honestly, maybe it's for the best because it might like I don't know. Well,
The guy in the back, you
it
can do
might it might stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah, if you have like that guy doing it. Like right after he gets the shit kicked out of him or something across by the fountain, just you
Yeah.
can do it.
You can do it all day. Hell yeah. But
Or you could almost get away with it at like the Celtics game if you just like
oh yeah, like
snuck it in there somehow.
yeah. No, that
Yeah.
would have been funny. But no, I really enjoyed him in this movie. Um, I enjoyed the emotional roller coaster it really put the audience on. I feel like there's not a lot of movies that like do a lot of unexpected twist and turn like that. For the most part, I feel like we've seen enough movies to kind of know that like, hey, you've seen this lamp in this particular spot, three times. We know that's going to be symbolic, you know, about this movie or whatever. But like you said, I think it was clever how they brought even the celebrities in, and they like I said earlier, paralleled the two sides of competitiveness and how it can be your downfall or it can be your uprising or whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
So, but I would say also something I enjoyed is also how it's filmed as well. No disrespect to Adam Sandler, but a lot of his other movies were, even as far as like just cinematography wise, they were definitely more low budget than this. So I appreciated the whole color palette they used. It helped really work with the griminess of just being a jeweler in the Diamond District in New York. I felt like the color grade really matched that, and yeah, even just all the characters they decided to put in there, I think it made for a really good watch.
Yeah, man. What out of 5 or 1 to 5 stars would you give Uncut Gems?
Mm, because obviously 5 out of 5 means it's a fucking.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say a 4 out of 5 because like you said, I think it was a good example of just like I said, anxiety kind of induced cinema, like between the music and just the pacing. I think that was like a master class of just how writing can really help you like feel, or connect with the movie. Um, and then, like I said, I think with the right material, like Adam Sandler can really be a good dramatic like actor. He's a good actor overall. So I give it a 4 out of 5.
There's some movies where it feels like the first time you watch it, it's really good. And then the more you watch it, it's not so good. And then there's the other side to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think this is a movie that will kind of last and continue to be good. I give it about a 4 star rating as well. Uh, like you said, I think it's a really good Adam Sandler movie where everything around it was clicking and everything was like, top effort and the best they could do. It probably leans like 4.5 too, like 4 or 4.5.
Yeah. Yo, quick question, Nate. I guess what stopping you from getting that last star? What did you not like about the movie?
They could have made some better connections with maybe like the universe storyline where it's really kind of just a bit at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's a little too like meta or whatever, but that would have been kind of cool. Thinking about like the tug and pull too of how quickly they bounce between the relationships. It ends up working in the end, I think,
Yeah.
with the gambling at the casino, but for a while it kind of just seems like the writers are using it as a device to like basically mess with Howard's emotions.
Yeah.
Where there could have been maybe better ways to do it. I don't know.
No.
That's not a huge criticism though. That's being really nitpicky. It's a pretty damn good movie. I would just say one of the things that I think of 5 stars is like my 2 favorite movies of that year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the rest are probably somewhere in 4 and a 4.5. I don't know, but everything's different. Ratings don't really matter that much, which
Yeah.
has kind of been our cliche throughout the podcast. At some point, we say we don't really care about the ratings.
Yeah. So like even to piggyback on kind of what you're saying, I think the reason it would stopping me from giving it a 5 out of 5 is I heard that you mentioned being able to watch the movie multiple times and if it still like hits the same. I don't know if this is just me and this just might be a subjective thing for me, but like a lot of the times like that I usually only watch a movie once or twice. I really have to connect with it to really watch it multiple times because like obviously after you get the big aha moment, then it's like okay, you kind of know, you kind of that's the kind of the thrill or the
Yeah.
surprise of the movie. So it's like I think the first time around, I remember being annoyed with the pacing in the beginning and then finally understanding and actually maybe accepting it at the end. But then I could see a second time around me being annoyed at the pacing because I feel like in the beginning, basically until he gets his ass beat, I think starts off really slow. But I think it's also essential to kind of build his character and like the relationships and stuff. But like, yeah, I just don't think I could watch it multiple times. And realistically, I feel like if it would have went in theater, it might have not performed as well as it did on Netflix.
I agree, but that's one good thing about Netflix, which honestly it sounds crazy, but like even like a $20 million budget that isn't even that much for like a movie like this. So like it's like a good and bad thing because like Netflix, they make so many movies now and they can make them pretty damn cheap.
Yeah.
That they don't care how many people, like how much actual viewership goes to that specific
Because
like
it
movie.
counts with the subscription or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's just like we're just trying to build subs. That's all they're doing. You know what I mean? They'll let people make almost any kind of movie, but it's just usually on like a $20 million budget or less.
okay. Yeah.
There's been some successes, some less, some lesser movies.
Yeah.
Like some of their originals have been good, like Roma
Yeah.
and The Irishman. And those two are movies that would probably have a hard time getting made anywhere else. Because Irishman was kind of weird because they took a risk with their whole like de-aging thing. They made the old actors look young and
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it could have looked bad, but it ended up not looking that bad. It looked pretty. It was pretty impressive, but it might not age the best, is what I fear.
Yeah.
Just because I think it'll be like good for our place in time, but I think the Irishman's like CG might look a little corny in a few years if things get even better. But yeah, I don't know. There's a little bit of good originals and a lot of just random stuff. All right, man. Well, I think that about wraps it up. We both give Uncut Gems 4 stars. This was really awesome. Follow us on Spotify and follow us basically everywhere but Apple Music, I think, has us now. So that's the thing. I think we're just waiting on Apple. But have a good day, everybody. Thank you, Greg. Peace.
Peace out, guys. Thank you for having me.